So get comfortable wherever you are and see that you arrive fully in your body. So have your cells be active and alive. So the cells can really be invigorated when we pay attention to the internal workings of our body. And this was really the first session we spent together on Monday, is to bring our attention to the experience of the body, not as a separate object, but as in its entirety. So not separate from the mind, but connected in one experience. So in this moment now, have the body really come alive without thinking of it as a separate object. And the way we do that is to tune in, pay attention to the workings of the body, and have the cells vibrate. And then we went through emotions yesterday, which was really rather sweet and also rather powerful. Because when we start to get present to our field of feeling, first we may be numb to this. So a lot of feeling is suppressed throughout the day because it's overwhelming to feel. There's so much to feel, so much that comes at us. And when we feel all this, it can be incredibly overwhelming. So you probably know emotions can be really overwhelming. Positive emotions like joy or seeing a beautiful sunset can also be overwhelming so much that sometimes we're not quite there for it. So we don't know how to take this beauty. Yeah, maybe you had this experience, you watched something really magnificent and you didn't know what to do with it, where to put it. And then somehow maybe kind of go on, do something else, How often do we really watch a sunset to its completion? It's so beautiful, but we move on, and we can't take it. And then, of course, let's say negative emotions, can be very overwhelming. Anger, fear. So it's like there's a fire burning and I don't know how to deal with it. So again, I distract, I go away. And this also happens not just by means of our lives, but also by means of what happens in the world. I see something on the news and I feel the fear. Maybe I'm not conscious of it, but underneath, I feel this article always. I always feel. I may not be aware of this feeling, but I feel. And so when we become present now in this moment to this feeling of this moment, try it now, do it now. What is the feeling of this moment? And for this, we need the body. Because the body is that field on which the emotions appear. So we notice the intensity. Maybe at first it's a little fire that we feel. And then we feel more and more the full scope, the full colors of emotion. So try this now. Go inside and feel what's there. Don't label it. Don't say, oh, I feel like this. If you just experience directly. No matter where you are, you just tune in with the feeling. Maybe you have your eyes half closed or even open, but the attention is inward. What is the feeling? And it takes some courage, huh? It takes some energy. It can't just be, oh, something I do on the side. It really takes our whole being to feel. And the closer we pay attention, the more colors they come through. the more aliveness there is. Yeah, and use your breath also. Don't force it, don't change it, but just be aware of your breath. Every breath moves a feeling. The feeling is always changing. We discussed this yesterday also. The feeling is never, this is how I feel, it's stuck. This is the mind's working. The feeling is always moving. It's energy and motion, emotion. Comes in waves. And right now we feel it clearly without labeling, without distinguishing, saying this is that. Just feeling what's there. So it's really actually having our experience be something alive and aware. Usually our experience of life is automatic, very often automatic. Yeah, we don't notice anymore how the station looks like, how the people look like, how our parents look like, how they feel like, because we are in autopilot. So this, to become aware of the body and the cells vibrating, aware of the feeling of this moment. It's really a way of experiencing clearly and cleanly also. Clean experience. The moment we are aware, it's clean. When we're unaware, the experience is infiltrated, imposed. Yeah, we get a news ad and it makes us feel a certain way. When we are aware, we are aware we are alive. So otherwise we are just living. It's a very good distinction. When we are aware, we are alive, and alive is different to living. Aliveness is full experience, full colors, without good or bad. Experience it is what it is. And this is pure meditation. Pure meditation. And then we talk about the mind today, and we inquire, we see together. So the mind is the surface on which everything appears. Yeah. So all the body physical sensations appear on the mind, meaning on our consciousness, on our awareness. They appear on the surface of our mind. We notice them through the mind. It's an appearance. Same with feeling, emotion. It appears on the surface of the mind. So when we do this now, this practice together of feeling the body, feeling the emotions, tuning in with the experience of this moment clearly, what we are doing is we are becoming aware of our mind and the quality of our mind in this moment. So when we become aware of our experience, we become aware of our mind and the quality of our mind. And the more clearly we become aware, the more clean the mind becomes. So, the mind is the surface on which all our experiences appear. And they also disappear. So when we speak about this non-philosophically, but in a meditation practice, when we sit cleanly, or no matter if we sit or stand, it doesn't matter, and then we watch our mind. What happens is that all kinds of experiences appear on the surface of our mind. And oftentimes when we start meditating, it's like sparkling water. It's so many experiences, so many feelings, emotions. And maybe it takes some time. First, meditation could be a bit numb. I don't see or feel anything. I said that this is the very beginner meditation. And then when I start to develop my awareness, then everything starts to, I start to see all the things that are going on. Anyway, they are always going on. So then I start to see all kinds of thoughts and emotions and body sensations, like sparkling water. So they appear on the surface of our mind in meditation practice. Yeah. And as with sparkling water, when you leave it standing, all the bubbles, they go. But when you leave it standing longer, and a little bit longer, and a little bit longer, the bubbles start to disappear. Now, of course, in this metaphor, our experience doesn't disappear. That would be pretty much a shame. We still want to be alive, be in the experience of this life. But the bubbles are not the experience. The bubbles are all the stuff that's happening without us being aware. So when we meditate and practice, the busyness of mind starts to dissipate without us having to do that. It happens naturally by us just being aware of our experience of this moment, watching physical sensations. Right now, I also do this when I say, so watch physical sensations, watch a feeling of this moment, watch any kind of mental activity. And then watch this system as a whole. So your whole being, you are aware of all that is happening in your experience in this moment. As I said in the beginning, maybe we are struggling to be aware. Maybe there isn't much happening. So then look closer, look closer. And you will see all the activity. The body is always moving, all the organs working. So we can be aware of even the organs working. And then feeling always moving, emotion is always there. We are never without an emotion. It's always emotion. So we feel without labeling what's there. Then we notice all the bubbles now. Huh? Now we notice all the contents of our consciousness. So much happening. Every moment something's happening. Then also watch the contents of mind. So contents of mind meaning all the thoughts. Maybe there's not a specific thought, but just the mind is moving at a pace. It's busy. You can feel the activity even of the brain. And this comes with a lot of practice of meditation. So we are doing a fast-paced pathway, which doesn't mean we are going to master this after the session, but it makes a pathway. Yeah. So now, as we are aware of our whole experience of this moment, no longer separated into, okay, this is body, this is feeling, but just this experience as it is. Maybe it's intense, maybe it's relaxed. Whatever it is, we leave it as it is. It's very important here to rest, 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 rest. Rest, don't do anything. And then you notice, even if just a little bit, can only be a glimpse, that the water becomes really still. The the awareness is very clean. There may be a lot happening, but our awareness that is aware of what is happening, we become present to that. So in that awareness, we rest in this awareness. Still water. Still water. And then maybe you will notice still the bubbles. But all the pulse of experience starts to no longer capture us, because we are aware of what's happening. And this is what we call the nature of mind. True, we can also say true nature, our true nature. So we arrived here together now, our true nature, which is the still water. So this is the sea of awareness, only awareness. And in this awareness, everything appears. And also recognize this not just in yourself, but also outside yourself. When you look out, everything that you see now appears on the surface of your awareness. And when you're lost in the sparkling water, you're lost in what you see. You see what I mean? You're lost in what you're no longer aware. You just see it. It's a thing, it's a person, it's an object, everything's separate. And there's me and there's out there. So this is thought, sparkles. But when you are aware and there's no thought, then you notice everything as it is without separation. And you recognize that from this nature of mind, everything emerges. Everything comes from this nature of mind, meaning everything appears on our awareness. So in the Buddhist tradition, this is the highest, most advanced practice, Mahamudra or Dzogchen. I'm not a teacher of Mahamudra or Dzogchen, but I teach my own experience. But I tell you this so we can also realize that this is actually very simple, but very advanced. This view of seeing the world not as separate is something many people like to speak about. You know, we are all one. No? But when, as they say, shit hits the fan, nobody is one anymore. And then we have our enemies, you know. So this view, to really make it true, we are all one. We have to really, really practice, and not faking it, but really seeing, you know, really investigating. Yeah, because when we watch, everything in my house is it's made out of somebody's awareness. It's created. Yeah, all the beings, all the human beings, they are created out of another human being and another human being. So nothing exists as separate. Nothing exists as separate. It's all one system, one nature. And what is this nature? It's awareness. Yeah. And now even share, for example, trees, they cannot be conscious, but they are aware. So I won't go much further into this, but it's something nice to investigate. Trees are not conscious, they can't think about what they are aware of. You know, this is consciousness. Consciousness is that I can make sense of what I'm conscious of. Yeah, but awareness is distinguished from that. Awareness, there's no thought. There's no mental activity. And there needs to be awareness for the tree to grow. Otherwise, how would the tree do the whole thing? Yeah, you need to be aware what's happening. The seasons. The seasons. As a tree needs to adapt. Or maybe more rain. The tree needs to adapt. So the tree needs to be aware. It may be a little bit difficult to understand, but it's good to go through this process, that we realize that simple awareness has no thought. And in that no thoughtness, in the natural state, the statement everything is one actually is true. But it's not a lovey-dovey statement. We are all one. It's a true statement. It's a fact. So that's also a nice light that comes through when I see this. Yeah, so on the topic of mind, so we remember mind is the surface on which everything appears. And also mind is the surface on which everything disappears. Yeah? So mind, in essence, is that awareness. Simple awareness. And then because there's consciousness, that which appears and disappears, we make sense of it, we analyze it. We are in relationship to it, which is not wrong, but we cannot forget the dimension of pure awareness. Yeah, you could say the surface of the mind is the horizontal line. And on the horizontal line, you know, we are aware of all that appears, all the emotions, thoughts, objects, people, everything we are aware. But on the vertical line, there's just awareness without distinguishing into objects, or just simple nature, our nature, our true nature. And then we realize also that the quality of our mind, meaning the quality of our awareness, our connection with this vertical, pure awareness, it makes our experience of life. It actually makes our life. Yeah. But again, I won't be going much further into this. The art and science of mind is discussed for centuries and traditions, so it's hard to cover that in half an hour. It's a big, big, big topic. But it's just to make a little gateway that we together can explore. And right now, in this moment, be aware of your own awareness. Be aware of your own awareness. You can do this with your eyes closed. You can do this with your eyes open. Doesn't matter. But when you really become aware of your own awareness, you see that it's completely empty. Yeah? The moment there's a thought, you're no longer aware of your own awareness. or the moment there's a physical sensation or motion, you're no longer aware. So when you recognize this awareness of your own awareness, this is purest form of meditation. And maybe not to be practiced from the beginning. Sometimes nice to practice first body, then emotion, then thought, then the whole experience. We also went through a journey these 3 days. It was my intention also. And then, as a practice, be aware of your own awareness, which is of course not your own, it's not mine, but I just use some words. So be aware of awareness. And then in that moment, when we are aware of awareness, we understand the teaching of emptiness. Again, this is highest teaching in Buddhism, emptiness. Zen Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, doesn't matter the tradition. Highest teaching, emptiness and compassion. Compassion, we went into yesterday a little bit in emotion, feeling. The purest state of feeling is compassion, love. Compassion goes even further than love. But now we understand the teaching of emptiness, to be aware of awareness. And with this, we practice. And this is most important. To only understand the teaching of emptiness but not practice, it's worthless. It doesn't matter. It's like getting something, getting the cover, but not really getting into it. So the way we practice is to be aware first of all the contents of experience. Body, emotion, thoughts, outside, noises, sights, people, everything. Everything that appears on our mind's surface. And then take the step of being aware of your own awareness. And you can even now practice to recognize the difference by looking out on looking at something. And first you are aware of it as a thing, separate object, person or object. With a thought, when you can recognize your mind also having to make sense of the object to distinguish it from who you are. And then be aware of this awareness with which you do all this, with which you see all this. And you will immediately realize that in this awareness of our awareness, I can no longer declare this object as separate. There's no thought to do it. But then you just look at it and you realize that you are this. You are that which you are looking at. This view only works with the understanding of emptiness. Good. So this is a really nice practice, also a lifetime practice. We can make a start. Be aware of the contents, be aware of awareness itself. So thank you so much, and goodbye.